Matheus Cunha back in Manchester United training. Academy player Gabriel is wanted by everybody, but will Manchester United be able to keep him? And how are they able to keep him for these next 2 years? Because Barcelona actually could have got him in the summer, but we've convinced him to stay at Man United another 2 years. 3 Manchester United young stars could be out in the January window. 3 players that United were happy to keep at the club now willing to send out on loan, which is a little bit of a surprise, some of the names, as they changed their stance to allow those players to leave. We're going to talk about Ugarte. He is allowed to leave on a permanent. We're going to talk about the midfield transfer plans, what we know, what top-tier sources have said on the January window plans, on our midfield plans. And Amad Diallo gives an interesting interview where he talks about the mentality change of players this season, which I think is particularly interesting. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute news roundup video, where I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys. Let's dive into it. He's back. Matheus Cunha is back in training, which is great to see. I feel like we've definitely missed him these last few games. I know we got the win versus Crystal Palace, but I do feel like we've missed him. What will be interesting is Xerxes had 2 starts in a row, a run of games to build fitness. He did really well in the second half of that last game. It will be interesting to see if Xerxes is dropped after scoring that fantastic goal and Cunha goes straight in up top. Because I almost would rather Mount be dropped. I know Mount also scored a goal, but I thought he was quite quiet and have see Cunha on the left 10. Because I think Cunha plays so much better when he's a left 10. But maybe because Cunha and Xerxes both like ball to feet. Maybe the Amorim sees too many similarities there. But I would like to see Xerxes get another start. I think Xerxes is one of those players that gets better with minutes. I think he's got the goal. I think he's got the confidence. So I'm happy Cunha's back, but I'd quite like to see him left hand and Cunha and Xerxes up top. I think that would be interesting to see. But big boost ahead of the West Ham game. So let's talk about Gabriel. Barcelona are trying to sign Manchester United teenage sensation Gabriel. Sources say United Director of Football Jason Wilcox was key in convincing Gabriel to stay at the club this season and next term. Now, if you didn't know, Gabriel almost left the club in May. Barcelona were there. He actually has a photo with Lamine Yamal, and it felt like he was going to go to Barcelona. We were in a bad place. Barcelona's academy is in a good place, and Barcelona were in a very good place last season, whereas we came 15th. But we started letting Gabriel play with the under-18s at age 14. We started letting him train with the first team. We started having conversations about him with Ruben Amorim. And I think what Jason Wilcox had managed to do is convince Gabriel and his family that there is a development pathway at Manchester United. And, they've tried to involve him more. Apparently, they even offered, and I don't know how true this is, but their family a box in the new Old Trafford in 2030. Apparently, they've offered the family. I don't know. But this kid has been getting deals with Nike. Man United potentially offering the family a box in the new Old Trafford in 5 years' time because he is seen as potentially the next Lamine Yamal kind of level of talent for his age. Gabriel really feels like the heartbeat of a new era we're building. Homegrown, fearless, and already showing that rare blend of flair and grit. If he puts pen to paper on that first pro deal with us, it'll be one of the most important moments for the academy in years, and I agree. Of course, things can happen. Some young players get carried away with the hype, with the attention, the pressure, and they don't ever live up to the level expected of them. And look, I'm not saying that Gabriel is going to be Lamine Yamal level or a potential Ballon d'Or winner, but he's seen for his age is so good. Like, things can happen, ego. We look at Ravel Morrison, for example, attitude, work rate, but incredible talent. Now let's talk about some more young incredible talents. So Manchester United seem to have changed their stance on the following 3 players. We didn't want these 3 players to go out on loan because we thought that they could be in and involved with the first team. If there's some injuries, Diego Leon can play left wing back, Adyen Heaven can play left centre back, and Chido can play out front. I think with the fact that Leacher is back and Adyen Heaven's not got many minutes, and we're not in Europe, apparently we're willing to let Adyen Heaven go out on loan, who's a very good player and has shown that. And I'm surprised we haven't seen more of Adyen Heaven because when he has played, he's been very good for us. He's already got an assist this season as well. Chido isn't even getting in the matchday squads anymore, even when we had no Sesko and no Cunha. He wasn't even in the matchday squad, but there is a rumour of him being injured. I think he wants a loan. And apparently Diego Leon is pushing for a loan. He's annoyed he's not getting first team minutes, which surprises me because he's just come to a new country, a new league, a new language. He's been here a few months. A bit like Sekou Kone. Man United almost want these kind of players to have 1 year to settle in the academy, and then the next year we let them out on loan. Solly Talks actually said that Diego Leon could go on loan to Nice. He's keen for minutes. There's also talk of Sekou Kone potentially going on loan as well. Obviously, he's had that eye socket injury, which has kind of derailed his season, but he's obviously fantastic. I remember the postseason tour. I really like what we saw from Sekou Kone, and there's no real opportunities for him to break in the first team this season. The only academy player that's seen as potentially able to break in the first team this season is Shea Lacey. He was on the bench the last game. Obviously, with Mbeumo and Amma going to AFCON, he plays right 10. But there's not really been seeing much opportunity for Sekou Kone, who could also go on loan. But United changed the stance and are willing to let these players leave in the January window. Talking of January window, Harry Amass is doing incredibly well on loan at Sheffield Wednesday. I think that's where United want to send more players out on loan because Harry Amass is doing well. I think Ethan Williams is doing pretty well. Vitek is doing incredible. And Sheffield Wednesday are keen to keep Harry Amass beyond January. However, they know there's huge interest in the 18-year-old and uncertain if he'll remain at Hillsborough beyond the end of the month. He's doing so well at Sheffield Wednesday. He's a level above everybody else there that there's a feeling that United could, one, recall him because we could do with a left wing back, or two, we might want to send him to a better club. Obviously the Sheffield Wednesday environment is pretty negative. Players aren't getting paid. They're bottom. The club is kind of screwed. But apparently some sources said that United like the fact that Harry Amass has gone to a club that's bottom of the league on minus points. His teammates aren't being played. It's a negative environment. They're losing, but he's still able to shine and he's still able to pull through that. He's been thrown into a negative environment and shining, which is so rare. And apparently United are really pleased with the mentality that he's shown on this loan. Now let's talk about first team players. Manuel Ugarte's future is looking increasingly bleak. Man United are planning a major overhaul of their midfield next summer. That inevitably means casualties and Ugarte being allowed to move on, with reports the club have identified as many as 10 players who could follow him out the door. So there is talk that Ugarte could leave. Mark Ogden even said that. There's talk that United would be willing to listen to offers in January as well, rumours of that. I think Ugarte is gone. Like Onana, like Højlund, we didn't know in April, March of this year if Onana and Højlund would go. There was rumours that we were willing to move them on, but we didn't know if they would go. In the summer, it looked like Onana and Højlund were going to stay. We signed their replacements and then they adiosed. I think that we will sign Ugarte's replacement. We will sign all these midfielders and say we can't guarantee you minutes, and he will go find another club and leave. I think what happened with Højlund this summer and Sesko, what happened with Onana and Le Mans is going to happen to Ugarte. Under Omar Barada, it's 2 seasons and you're out. You have to prove yourself. This is his second season. He hasn't proved himself. We want a big midfield overhaul. Selling Ugarte, getting 25-30 million back for him is going to help. Hopefully, if all goes to plan, we get money for Højlund, we get money for Rashford. The wages saved Casemiro. We should have a decent amount of money coming in. But Ugarte can add to that. I'd also look at maybe moving on Dalot. I know that Dalot is a decent player in a back four, but if we're going to continue with Amrin and continue with a back five, I would also consider potentially moving on Dalot. Let's continue on into more bits and pieces. What are United's midfield priorities? Laurie Watt said on midfield targets, Elliot Anderson is the primary focus for me at the moment, but you've also got Adam Morton, who's a different kind of midfielder. I think we want both to replace Bruno and Casemiro. I think United are going to sign 2 to 3 midfielders. We signed 3 attackers in the summer. I think this summer is going to be about midfield. I think if we can find a wing back, someone with pace that can play wing back or left 10, we will. But I think we're going to be looking at midfielders this summer, and we know that's the priority. However, it doesn't look like we can do them in January. Louis Whitwell said from a United point of view, they could do with strengthening in January, but they don't see that as the right opportunity. They want Elliot Anderson, they can't get him in January. That's why they don't see January as the right opportunity to do it, because the players that they want aren't available in January. If something came onto the landscape, they could act quickly, I suppose, but from my understanding, it would be a loan. Now, United don't like to spend in January, but if there's an opportunity, we should look at it. I still think we should look at Semenyo. If there's an opportunity to do something in January, I think if we're going to do something in January, it's Conor Gallagher on loan and Mainoo goes off to Napoli, if I was to guess. And then last but not least, I want to get into Ahmad's comments. We're improving a lot as a team. Last season, we were going into the game thinking we'd already lost. This season is different. The mindset has changed, different energy. We think we can win every match. We're not satisfied with our current standing, but we're going to do better, was said by Ahmad. I mean, it's bad that last season went into games thinking we'd already lost. I'm glad the mindset has changed. I think we turned around the Palace game. We've turned around more games this season. We've had the belief in the mindset. Went behind to Tottenham, went behind to Forest. We got those last-minute goals to rescue a draw. I like the mindset, being more positive. But this is Man United. You need to have that mindset to even play for the club. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.